Hello and welcome along to Decipher Sports Fan Fest, live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. My name is Sam Farley and I'll be your host for the next 25 minutes as we preview the final NFL game from London, the Miami Dolphins taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll have the Miami Dolphins fans joining us live from either side of the Atlantic. We'll announce the winner of the Jalen Woodell jersey giveaway, organised in partnership with Miami Dolphins UK, and we'll also listen to two very well-known British Miami Dolphins fans. But first, co-hosting alongside myself, straight from Philadelphia, is radio sports broadcaster Vince Quinn from Last Out Media. How are you doing, Vince?
I'm doing good, Sam. I was going to say good morning, but that's incorrect with the time difference. So I will say good afternoon to you. And I see that you're out at the stadium. So obviously, I see a lot of people moving around in the background. Like, give me the vibe. What is everything like out there at the park?
There's a real kind of festival atmosphere, There's fans from every team, different jerseys. I've seen Trevor Lawrence Clemson jerseys. There's everybody out here. Everybody's having a good time, just kind of basking in the NFL being back in Europe again.
Now, quick follow-up question for you real quick, by the way. Pre-game, right? You're hanging out in the lot. People are having a good time. What's the food situation? Like, what could I expect to eat? Have you seen people eating anything before the game? What does it look like over there that way?
So we've kind of got this real kind of amalgamation of kind of the American classics you'd expect to see at a game. And also your British food as well. Your kind of standard hot dogs are around, but the more British style as well as the American style and all sorts. But Vince, obviously, what do you think is going to happen today in this game? It's quite a big one for both teams now.
Well, yeah, it is. Excuse me. And you look at Jacksonville and their situation. I mean, that's a team with the back against the wall. But I will say this first off to Dolphins Nation, okay? Do not give up. Do not give up on this season. There's plenty of time left, people. Look at the schedule. It's easy. The teams they play are bad. And as a phrase that we like to say here in the States, this is a get-right game. If you're the Miami Dolphins, you have Tua back. This is a team that you can beat. So for him to finally make this start again after the injury week 2, there's a lot to get excited about here. So that's the starting point. Jacksonville is beatable, and for the Dolphins, you got every chance to take this thing and get back on the right track, Sam.
It's going to be a fun, but what do you think we can expect from Tua? Will he be totally fit? What are we going to see?
Well, yeah, and you know what I'm looking for? So first and foremost, the thing is, and I saw this week 1, when you go back and watch what he did in that first game, the stats are a little deceptive, right? But the thing that's great about Tua in week 1, he was getting rid of the football. Last year, he's like, oh, am I gonna, do I want to throw this? Like he didn't want to throw the ball down the field. So for him being so hesitant, on some level scared last year to throw the ball, he was quick to throw it in that first game. That's exciting to me. So out of anything, even if he looks a little bit rusty, he's missing some of the passes that he shouldn't. If he's getting rid of the ball quickly, I'm excited for this because, again, he's still a young guy. He's got a lot of growing to do, and that's what you want to see from him, just being quick with the football.
It's obviously been a really difficult time for Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars organization, but what do you think we can see from them today?
So Jacksonville is a mess. I mean, they're just a mess in every which way. And one of the things going into this game, you might think Jacksonville, obviously, they play in London every year. There's an advantage with that. But there's not. It is the new coaching staff. They are dealing with scandals and all sorts of problems. They're not that efficient of a football team. So I would expect Jacksonville to be sloppy, which is, again, why when you're looking at a game like this for the Dolphins, you have every opportunity to go and win. I feel really good about it today.
Definitely. I mean, do you think we could see more from Trevor Lawrence than we saw from Zach Wilson last week?
Well, yeah, I would hope so. Everything with the Jets is just such a mess. But Trevor Lawrence is just a top-of-the-line player, and he was the number 1 draft pick and the reason. So he's going to make a couple of throws today, but he shouldn't take over the game the way that you expect him to do 2-3 years from now.
Fantastic. Well, look, as promised, we've got a couple of Miami Dolphins fans from either side of the Atlantic. First up, we have Chris, a member of the Miami Dolphins UK, and alongside him we have Julia joining us live from Toronto. Welcome. Hey Chris.
Hello, Chris.
So what are you expecting for this game?
I'm not expecting a great game. I think it's two teams that really haven't had the greatest start to the season. Obviously, for the Dolphins in particular, it's been a challenge, especially with Tua going down so early against the Bills. Have failed to build on what was a labouring to a win, I think, in their first game against the Patriots. And as Vince said, it's a get right game. It's a real opportunity to lay down a bit of a marker. But I think the concern for the Dolphins is that that's exactly how the Jags see it as well. These two teams aren't particularly great, haven't been particularly great this season, and it could be a classic game in London, which is just not two very poor teams, trying not to get beaten, basically.
And so, what's for your standpoint, Chris? Because you go into the season and there's so much excitement, right? I mean, you're talking about a team that almost made the playoffs last year. You have the continuity with the coaching staff. But what's been the biggest disappointment for you looking at the Dolphins this many games into the season?
Yeah, I think what we saw even in some of the defeats, against the Colts in particular, when the shackles were off a little bit, even Jacoby Brissett was able to move the chains, and when the game seems to be tight, there doesn't seem to be much offensive game plan. I don't know if that's down to having co-coordinators, lack of understanding about who's calling plays, and obviously, missing your starting quarterback is obviously going to be an issue as well. So one would hope that perhaps with Tua back today, maybe the shackles will be off a little bit against the beleaguered Jags team. But I think that there does seem to be quite a conservative defense first, let's think and dunk offense kind of vibe from the Dolphins this year. And I don't think that that's necessarily going to be what the fans want, and it probably isn't going to make for a great game in London today.
and the dink and dunk is surprising. And sorry, Seth, the dink and dunk is surprising because you look at the team and you see all the moves that they made. It's a lot of guys down the field, vertical, fast, and here you are with the dink and dunk. It's got to be frustrating to watch.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think an age-old issue for the Dolphins, ever since Joe Philbin was there, and maybe even before, is that they can't keep the quarterback upright. Whether that's been Ryan Tannehill, Fitzpatrick, or even Tua, they can't keep the quarterback upright. And as you said, Vince, Tua was getting the ball out fast early on, but that's because he's got no time in the pocket to even go deep. And the Dolphins have some deep threats. We do have. I mean, not today. I think he's inactive. But we've got Devontae Parker, we've got Preston Williams, we've got Jalen Waddle, we've got Mike Gesicki, we've got pass catchers. But if Tua has to get the ball out really quickly, then he's just going to dump it off to Myles Gaskin all the time, and we're going to end up with negative plays on so many drives.
So, Chris, look, I've already told Vince about the atmosphere here today, but can you just let Vince, Julian, kind of the audience at home just know what it feels like to be a British Dolphins fan and how special we kind of view these London games here?
Yeah, I mean, I was unfortunate enough not to get a ticket this year, which is very disappointing. But I've been several times before, and yeah, it's a great opportunity for to see your team without the giant expense of traveling over to Miami or even going to see them on the road. And yeah, I think the fact that this is a home game, or this is a home game for the Jags, the Dolphins haven't had to give up a home game this time, but still get to go to London. I don't think it's going to feel like a home game for the Jags. I've been to a lot of Jags home games as an opportunity to go to watch the NFL in London, and they do make quite an atmosphere. But I think the fact that there is, the Dolphins are probably one of the bigger teams in the United Kingdom means that it won't feel like a home game for the Jags today. It's probably going to be pretty even, if not tipping in favour of the Dolphins, and particularly, although both teams do have fairly young quarterbacks, I think that Tua seems to be considerably more popular, and I think that that's probably going to tip the neutral as well today. So yeah, I think while I'm not anticipating a classic, I do think that the stadium in general, and Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, is far better than Wembley as well. I think it creates a far better atmosphere. I think that the crowd will be on the Dolphins side today.
And let's go to Julia real quick, because Julia, obviously, you're a Dolphins fan living in Toronto. You've got a game in London today. And how do you feel about the Dolphins playing in London?
Well, I think it's kind of funny that two teams are playing each other across the pond when they can actually drive to each other in Florida. But I mean, I think it's brilliant. I think the NFL expanding to Europe is amazing. It's brought joy to so many millions of people. I think it's amazing that this is happening. What I will ask is, why aren't they playing? Where's my team? I lived in Miami for a long time. I've been to tons and tons of games. But the Dolphins haven't played in Toronto in a long time. They played the Bills here a while ago, but it's been a while. So I'm hoping that we get a team here in Toronto as well.
Well, I don't think they're leaving Miami anytime soon. We will clone the Dolphins, and we will get the cloned team, and we will bring that to Toronto. But in the meantime, for you being a Dolphins fan, I mean, what got you into the Dolphins? Who's your all-time favorite Dolphin?
Oh God! I mean, I've been listening. I lived in Miami for a long, long time, and I've got so many players that I love. But I mean, I love Tua. I'm glad that he's back. It's great he's off IR, and I'm hoping for some good things from him today.
All right, and Chris, is that an Ndamukong Suh jersey that you're wearing over there? What jersey are you wearing?
It is a big jersey. Yeah, I remember someone gave me some advice. I think a little bit after this, it was just like maybe don't get a player's jersey until they've retired, retired a legend. But yeah, unfortunately, I do quite like the retro vibe of this one. It's a nice jersey, so I'm going to keep on wearing it. It's also one of the only ones that fits me. Sizing for UK fans is quite challenging. And yeah, it was a lot of trial and error. I think I've got a Ryan Tannehill jersey that looks like a 10, a Jarvis Landry jersey that I don't think my nephew would get into. So I finally found a happy medium with this one.
There you go.
Well, Julia, Chris, it's been a pleasure talking to you. But I think we've got to move on now. And last week we caught up with another very, very famous British Miami Dolphins fan. Some of you may know him. He fronts the coverage of the NFL live on Sky Sports in the UK. He's seen the game grow and evolve from a small country in sport to being one of the most popular sports in the country. It is, of course, the one and only Mr. Neil Reynolds.
One week after the games are played to what we have now. Yeah, we're going to have 6 live games on Sky Sports. We've got BBC as well, so it's it's really come so far to be able to have Game Pass, and you can watch all the games if you're a fan, all the NFL Network programming. You can watch everything in Manchester that you can watch in Miami. Same in London to Los Angeles. It's fantastic. The fan base is really knowledgeable. I think our fans know easily as much as any fan in the US. I feel like it's a completely dedicated fan base. They're deserving of the games that they get here. They recognise that it's here to stay, and it's just seeing it grow all the time, and seeing fans my age, and then seeing kids that are coming into it as well. I'm really excited about the future. I think with the 17th game the NFL are going to play, I think there's a potential for almost like a Grand Prix-like tour of the NFL around the world. I really do. I think the teams are going to be lining up, and that means we've got 2 games guaranteed at Tottenham every year. But then what's to say the Bucs don't want to play a game at Old Trafford? The Jags strike their own deal at Wembley Stadium. You'll still have these 2 games, but you'll have those extra things as well. It's just been a remarkable journey, and I've kind of seen it as a fan and then through as a journalist. And it's, how far we've come is incredible. I would not have believed we'd be doing what we're doing now, standing outside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium ready for a game. This is really special when you get days like this. Hi there, I'm Neil Reynolds, and if you've ever wanted to learn about the NFL, check out Decipher Sport.
Let's shift our focus to the Jags now, and joining us are Charlie and Joe from Decipher Sport. Welcome, guys. Charlie, you were at the Jags press conference on this past Friday. What were your key takeaways?
And as we wait for Charlie to get in here, I would figure there was certainly a lot to talk about. I mean, you have to imagine that, excuse me, as my asthma kicks in, seasonal changes, you got to love them. Jacksonville's been going through a lot, and here we are. So, yeah, Charlie, how did everything look today at the press conference, or the other day at the press conference?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, they looked they look very relaxed, weirdly relaxed, I suppose, considering a team that hasn't really won many games. They haven't won any games. They've lost like 20 in a row, so they're not not that good in that regard. But yeah, they seem quite relaxed. I mean, Urban Meyer was out on the field just throwing the ball, playing catch with a few of the players. They were all just joking when it was actually came to the training. In the press conference, Urban Meyer himself was probably a little guarded. I wouldn't say it was prickly, but I think it's probably not an understatement to say that it's been a challenging couple of weeks for him and the franchise on and off the field. So, yeah, but the players themselves seemed really, really, really relaxed and probably see this as a bit of an opportunity.
So, Charlie, what was your impression of Trevor Lawrence at the press conference? Did he seem cool, calm, composed, or was he a bit anxious about playing what I imagine is his first game abroad?
Oh, no, it was anything but nervous or worried at all. I mean, that I can't quite explain it. I've never quite been in a room where everybody was hanging off his every word. The guy's going to be a star. He knows he's going to be a star, which probably doesn't help. But he was relaxed. He was cracking jokes, excited about being in London. I mean, doesn't seem phased by the occasion at all, and he just seems like an NFL quarterback already. And he's only played 5 games, so he was fine.
And he's got fantastic hair, by the way. Now, Charlie, so looking at the game then, how do you see this all playing out? Dolphins, Jags, who you got today?
I think I'm going to go with the Jags. I think they can run the ball. They've got a top 10 running offense. The Jags have got a bottom 10 running defense. And I think if they score an early touchdown or score first, I think they'll be all right. But probably Jags by a touchdown, I think. And the way everybody was acting in the whole press conference, they see this as a massive opportunity, especially going against the quarterback that's coming back from injury. I think they'll do it.
All right.
I think that's very fair. So, Joe, you were at the Jets-Falcons last weekend. Just want to ask you quickly, what was the atmosphere like? And do you imagine it's going to be similar today here?
Yeah, it's always a cool atmosphere. UK fans always show out, and the NFL, like no one else, really knows how to put on a show and get everybody involved. And in terms of today, I think it'll be extra special because the Dolphins have such a strong support here in the UK, and Jags fans will be so buzzing to have their team back in London after a couple of years, hopefully at the start of a new era with Trevor Lawrence.
So is there a home field advantage either way? I mean, I know the Jaguars have been playing in London for a couple of years now, and they've really been trying to drive a fan base there. But everything I've seen with the Miami fan base in London and England as a whole is huge. So seeing the numbers, is this more of a Dolphins crowd? Is this a Jags crowd? Like, who is the home field advantage today?
I would say the Dolphins, 100%. You know, like they hosted the first ever game here in 2007 at Wembley, and I think they definitely have more of a support than the Jags. And going up against the Jags, who place London with such importance, it's a pretty special matchup from a British standpoint.
There are a lot of Miami Dolphins jerseys around today. Let me tell you, it must be probably about 20% of the crowd, which I think is more than I've seen any single team have at any game I can remember, to be honest. But quickly, Joe, how do you see today playing out? Who's going to get the dub?
Yeah, whilst I know Miami are the stronger team, more experience, better coaches, all of that, I'm getting drawn in by Trevor Lawrence, honestly. I don't know if it's his hair and everything about him. He's a star, 6'6", like he was built in a factory to save the Jags as a franchise, honestly. And I think he can become the first rookie quarterback to win a game in London today. So if anyone's going to do it, why would it not be Trevor Lawrence? So I think the Jags are going to win probably by 3 today in a close one.
And he'd be the first Jaguars quarterback in general to win a game, right? I mean, has Jacksonville won a game in London yet?
I think they have. I think
have
they?
They
3 and 4 maybe, but it's not been great when they come over.
As of the past couple of years, not friendly to the Jacksonville Jaguars so much.
Yeah.
I mean, look, let's talk about Jacksonville quarterbacks. Blake Bortles has double the amount of passing yards of any other quarterback in London. So you could say he's the top quarterback as well. But yeah, I mean, you definitely wouldn't. But look, I think now it's time for that big Jalen Waddle jersey giveaway organised by Decipher Sport and Miami Dolphins UK. So, Joe, I think we'll leave this one with you.
Yeah, so we had almost 150 entrants for this prize on Twitter. I'll just show the jersey we have here. It's a Jalen Waddle jersey. Very nice. And to announce a winner, It is at Irish Dolphin on Twitter. Congratulations to you. Give us a DM on Twitter and we'll sort the rest.
All right. Look at that. That's a nice jersey to get right there. Jalen Waddle, man. He's shown some good flashes already for a young guy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's going to be a star.
No doubt about it.
He really has. Well, thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Joe. That's been fantastic. And look, we're getting close to kickoff now. You can see the crowd behind me sort of dissipating as people are starting to find their seats. So I think we'll leave you with another British Miami Dolphins fan. You might know who this one is. He's a bit of a legend in the game. So we spoke to him about about the magic of this NFL London game. But that is all from us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the cracking game. And here is Nat Coombs. Sit back and enjoy.
3-4 years if this goes okay. At that point, I don't think anyone thought there'll be regular season games and the possibility of a franchise. So the way it's developed and the way it's accelerated, I think it's surprised everybody. The global game is definitely on the cards. I think London in particular, the UK more broadly, has been chosen as a logical gateway for a lot of Europe. And let's not forget that a lot of the fans that come over to the London games from across Europe, particularly Germany, Holland as well. So for all kinds of reasons, that made a lot of sense, I think, for the NFL initially, to concentrate on it as a gateway to a big chunk of the world. But then there's, of course, an even bigger chunk of the world that they haven't really tackled yet. So the potential for the game to go genuinely global, we're seeing all kinds of things now in terms of player development and finding specific players from all corners of the world through the Pathway program to start to play in the NFL. The more that happens, I think, the greater the chance of the game catching on back in that specific country. Hi, I'm Nat Coombs, and if you want to learn about the NFL, check out Decipher Sport.